everyone. Today we are going to be covering three important immigration updates. The first one being an update on H1B lottery, the second one being H1B stamping in the US, and the third one being EB1 retrogression. I am Priya from It's Ok Yaar and welcome back to our channel. And if you're new today, It's Ok Yaar is a content platform for South Asian immigrants and we aim to educate, entertain and empower them. And if you're new today, Sonal is an immigration lawyer and she runs Sharma Law Associates. Her email is sonal@sharmalawassociates.com and I will leave all the details about her in the description box as well so that you can check it out later. So welcome back Sonal. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me again here, Priya. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having us in your office. We're right at Wall Street, so we really feel great about shooting this piece. So thank you so much.
You're most welcome.
There's so much going on with immigration, so we want to directly deep dive into the topic. The first one is a news that just came out yesterday that USCIS is actually going to be doing an H1B second lottery. What can you share with us that is going to be easy for the people who are watching this to understand? Three updates that they must know.
Well, so it was very obvious that it's going to happen. We knew that it's highly likely that we'll have a second lottery this year, given that there were multiple registrations for different people and most of the people, as far as 40% people did not file their petitions. So it was very likely that there will be a second lottery. Even though USCIS had picked up a higher number of selections this year compared to previous years, looks like they still haven't received enough number of applications to cover the 85,000 visas. So that's why you're seeing the second lottery, which is going to happen probably over the weekend, and we'll know by Monday the results of those. USCIS love doing this on weekend for some reason, but most likely by Monday we'll know the new selections that's going to come up.
Amazing. And Monday is July 31st because we are talking in days, but we wanted to understand the dates that we are talking about. So that would be July 31st, 2023. That's super helpful, Sonal. And if you want to deep dive on all things second lottery and why this is happening, we actually did a video with Sonal a couple of weeks ago that touches on all of the reasons of why the second lottery is happening this time. We will link that video as well and definitely check that out if you're interested in deep diving. Now we'll move to the second update, or if you have any update on the second topic, which is the H1B stamping that should start in the US. And we've heard that a pilot is already running. There is just a lot of news around that. So help us simplify, like what is going on? Is there a timeline or anything else that you're aware of?
So the pilot program is not running yet.
Okay.
It is supposed to be starting in fall of 2023.
Okay.
So there is no more information from DOS on this at this point. Yes, it is pretty much settled that it is going to happen now that Prime Minister Modi has also announced it officially. So there is like a lot more, it's a lot more cemented that it is going to be started. Well, the background is that they have already been using the remote officers in DC to do the work related to stamping during COVID. Okay. So now, over the past couple of years, DOS has enough data to see that it works. So that's why this whole program is coming into play, and we will see that it's gonna go into effect in fall of 2023.
Amazing. So Sonal, do we have information on who would be eligible for this? Is it first time stampers? Is it people who already have an I-140? Like, do we have any information?
So the basic information that was released earlier regarding this pilot program was that this will be applicable for H&L extensions. So if it is a first time stamping, I think it's not going to be included in this based on the information earlier provided, but you never know until it is like ruled out and like it's going to roll out. So right now we are expecting it to be for H&L extensions, and it's going to be in fall.
Got it. Thank you. So Sonal, the third one is the EB1 retrogression, and I think that was a very disheartening news for many people because EB1 has always kind of been current. So just curious to get your POV on, do you think that it is actually going to go back to June 2022, some point in October, because there is a lot of information around that? And the second question that I have is, there is a reason why this has happened, because a lot of people who had EB2 or EB3 ported them to EB1, and help us understand in very simple terms how it all happened and what is your point of view on whether we can expect it to kind of go back to June 2022.
Sure. So most likely, yes, it is going to go back to June 2022 levels in October. So October starts the new fiscal year for the visas. USCIS extends the date or retrogresses the date based on data with them, seeing how many visa numbers are available and how many applications are already in process. So if they see that all the visa numbers are going to be used up and they have enough applications in process already corresponding to those visa numbers, so they retrogress so that there is no more filing coming in. So that's why this has happened. Reason being, for there is no spillover available this year from the family immigration cases or visa numbers. There were in the last few years because of COVID, and no more, not the processing was not happening at the consulate. So there was an excess number of visas available from the family quota, which was spilling over to the immigrant employment based categories, and that's why dates were moving faster. This year there is no immigration family quota available to spill over in employment based cases, and generally there is more demand in EB1 category all over the world as well, not just India. So what it happens is, like, if there is not enough applications filed in EB1 category in rest of the world, that also gets to the EB1 categories to India and China, where there is more demand. But right now there is overall more demand in EB1 category throughout, and there is no spillover, and they already have enough applications, or they are expecting that for people like you mentioned who already had EB2 and EB3 between 2012 and 2015, they are now filing EB1 applications because now they're eligible, and they're porting that date. They're keeping they're retentioning the date, earlier priority date that they had under EB2 and EB3, which makes them to stand in line ahead of people who are filing now, because they are going to keep the earlier priority date. So USCIS is expecting that there are enough people from that period who are either filing or are going to file EB1 applications for them to be able to keep it current for the people who are filing now. That is why they have retrogressed it to that year where it is right now, so that they can assess that in the next few months until October, they're not going to accept any new applications, because they're sure that they have enough application to issue all the EB1 and throughout also employment visas applications there with them.
So I have a couple of questions so that I understand this correctly and everyone who's watching as well. Example, I had an EB2 and a priority date of 2013. I moved it to EB1, or I ported it to EB1 now. Is that a reason, like someone like me who did that or I did it for 2012 and now it is 2012, is why the EB1 date has become 2012, or am I not understanding that correctly?
No. So what they are trying to tell you is that there are enough people who have, so EB2 date was at 2012.
Correct.
Sometimes. So people before that have already gotten their green cards, most of them, right? Unless you haven't filed it or the job offer is not available or whatever, but most of the people have gotten it. So now for anybody who has an EB2 2012, only forward people you're going to count, that there is a chance that they're going to move to EB1. So that's why the date of 2012 to 2015, USCIS is expecting anybody who has a priority date from 2012 to 2015, most likely if they are going to file an EB1 application, they are going to get in line before the people who are filing now, because they have an earlier priority date. That's why that window is important, because they are estimating it that people who file during that period, there might be enough people who are going to either file or have already filed and have kept the retained the priority date from earlier EB2 or EB3.
Got it. And then I had like two more questions. One is, why do you think this sudden demand for EB1 has started happening? Because you mentioned, right, it's not just about India, it's about a lot of other countries. Like, do you have any insight on why suddenly a lot of people are pursuing EB1?
Well, for India and China, it's very clear, right? People who are here for now 10 plus years, their careers have grown.
Yeah.
They have made their profile. Now they are actually eligible for an EB1. So, and given the backlogs and time that is going to take for them to get the green card, that's like a major factor for them to try for EB1. And all these people, they have children who's probably going to age out before they get green card. So all these are motivations for them to now try for EB1. Earlier it was like, okay, EB3 takes say 7 years, EB2 takes 3 to 5. Fair enough, within 6 years of your H1B, you're gonna get a green card. There was no rush. But now, if you're already here in US on H1B for 12 years, how long are you gonna wait? But in these 12 years, if your career has grown to a level where you are eligible for an EB1, people are trying for it and they are claiming their priority date to get the green card faster. But also, it is not just EB1A, right? There is another categories in EB1 as well, EB1C for that matter. There are a lot of people who are working in US. They came on H1B, say started at a like senior associate level, and throughout like last 7-8 years, they've become managers in the same country. Now they're moving back to their home country or some other country in the world to be in a managerial position for 1 year so that they can come back, file the EB1C, still retain the priority date from earlier and get the green card faster. So there is a lot of demand in the EB1C category as well, especially for India.
Okay, that's amazing, and that's good. The good news, if you want to take one thing away from this video, is that there is a good chance and we can be hopeful that the dates are going to move back to June 2022 in October. And the second piece is, if you don't know anything about EB1 or if you're not sure if EB1 is the right one for you, we have a very detailed video on how to get EB1 and if on H1 as well, how you can get EB1, and we will link that, so definitely watch it. But thank you so much, Sonal. This was really helpful. I did want to talk about one question that you had mentioned about family-based green card numbers and then employee-based green card numbers that kind of reset, and there is a number associated to it before October 1st. Does that change every year? What is that number? Do you have insight on that number?
That's a set number,
okay,
which is for employment-based, it's every year 140,000.
Okay.
For family-based, I have to check.
Okay, that's okay.
but because there was not enough demand or processing, not demand. There is always demand for family visas as well. There was not enough processing at consulates. Those numbers were flowing over to this year also. There is a little bit of flow. Like this year, USCA is expecting it to be 197,000 for employment based instead of 140. So they still have like little over 50,000 extra visas that are going to employment based, but the demand is already there because of the backlog, so it's gonna used up a lot.
Got it. Thank you so much. Okay, to summarize, the H1B second lottery will definitely happen and we should hear more by July 31st, 2023. So that's Monday. The second one is H1B stamping in the US. We should also have more news soon. So watch this space, but it's expected to start in the fall this year. And the third one is EB1 retrogression, and that's also good news that we have, that it's expected that in October it will go back to June 2022. So if you're in the line, best of luck. If things are not going your way, remember, it's okay yaar. This is Priya signing off. Have a wonderful day.